And for this video, you're going to be watching footage of Giannis. Is he a top 10 player? Do I put him in my list? I guess you can stick around till the end to find out. That's my attempt at shameless plugging. Hopefully it works out. The top 10 NBA players. It's a discussion that NBA fans have a lot. They argue with each other on Twitter, comment sections, Reddit, and in the end, we all hopefully learn something. Or if anything, we just end up blocking each other on the internet. I guess both are productive in their own weird ways. So I'm going to give my opinion of the top 10 players in the NBA right now, and yeah. So number 1 is still LeBron James. Not only is LeBron the best basketball player in the world, he is the best sub-tweeter, and he's also the best at making his front office go. What the hell, dude? You already made us go like $1 billion over the salary cap, and now you are yelling at us to get a backup point guard? I mean, to be fair, it's kind of a fair thing because they have 2 guys on this team who average more than 2 assists per game. It's him and Kyrie Irving. But LeBron's still a beast. His 3-pointers are going in. LeBron's 3-pointers are more confusing than, like, whatever the hell Billy King was thinking when he traded in 15 Brooklyn picks for the corpses of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. I don't know. LeBron's making his outside shots now. That's cool. And of course, there's the narrative of him, like, kind of chilling through the regular season. It doesn't help when he's playing like 40 minutes a night with Tyronn Lue, throwing him in there and going, well, if I don't put LeBron in, we're going to lose this game. Because the Cavaliers have actually not been the best since LeBron has arrived when he is not on the floor. But then when he is on the floor, they're frickin' God mode, so... LeBron, the playmaking, the pick-and-roll stuff, the finishing inside, being impossible to stop in transition as well as just barreling down to the rim. Defensively, he can become like the second coming of Zeus when he wants to. And if the Cavaliers are not in the NBA Finals and if they're not competing for a championship this season, then I'm going to assume that there was some catastrophic injury to this team. Number 2 through 4 are pretty damn close, and I think there would be some disagreements between these 3 players. The 3 players are Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, who I would say are the 3 prime MVP candidates, with Westbrook and James Harden being a little bit over Kevin Durant when it comes to that award race. Between these 3, it's really damn tough. I mean, Westbrook as well as Harden definitely have a tougher time offensively because, I mean, Westbrook is surrounded by a decent amount of defensive players with Robertson and Steven Adams, who's pretty much just good at finishing at the rim, and he's got a rookie power forward, and, I mean, Enes Kanter can definitely put some points up, and Victor Oladipo can as well, but it's not like Westbrook just has a million options around him. James Harden is definitely elevating guys who really can't create their own shots besides Eric Gordon, whereas Kevin Durant's got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green on his team. So in that respect, yeah, Westbrook and Harden have a tougher time. But in another sense, I would say Durant is the best defender out of the 3. James Harden, while he has gotten better this season, is still just not up to the level of these guys on defense. And then with Westbrook, for like a specific moment, he can really step up and be an awesome defensive player. But throughout the course of a season, sometimes he'll blow an assignment, sometimes he'll just get a little too erratic going for steals. I feel like Durant, game in and game out, is more disciplined defensively. And he uses his size very well in terms of protecting the rim. And from an offensive standpoint, like simply just putting the ball in the basket, Durant, for his career, has been more efficient than both Westbrook and James Harden. I mean, Durant has shot over 50% from the field for like 5 years in a row now, and he's also shot over 38% from 3 for about 6 seasons, and the same cannot be said for Westbrook or James Harden, which, given that we're dealing with players of this level, like, I need something to separate them. So I think I favor Kevin Durant being number 2 over Westbrook and Harden. I also think when it comes to, like, we need a bucket right now, all 3 of these guys would be a fantastic choice, of course. I think I would give it to Durant a little bit over the other 2, probably just because of his ability to score in the post and because he's really improved on that turnaround jumper. So I would say Durant number 2. Between Westbrook and Harden, I mean, for the sake of whatever, I'll say Westbrook 3 and Harden 4, but they're pretty much tied if you ask me. For number 5, I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard, who in the month of January is putting up 29 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 55% from the field, 45% from 3. And efficiency has always been a huge thing with Kawhi's offense. Very close to a 50-40-90 season at the moment while putting up 26 points a game. And of course, he is the best defensive player in the NBA. I think what holds Kawhi back from the Durants and the Hardens and the Westbrook is, one, the playmaking is just a little down. He averages 3 assists a game, whereas James Harden and Westbrook are both over 10, and Durant is around 5. And given San Antonio's system, where there's a lot of ball movement, and Tony Parker's dribbling the ball, and Patty Mills is dribbling the ball, and Manu Ginobili is, I do understand that Kawhi's assists are sometimes not going to be as high, but given how much more trust Popovich is putting in Kawhi to just create his own shot, go one-on-one, be in the pick and roll, be in post-up situations, I would hope that his assists were a little bit higher. But still, number 5 is pretty damn cool. Now, for number 6, I'm not going to lie to y'all, part of me wants to put Anthony Davis above Steph Curry. Ultimately, I don't think I can do it. I think I would go with Steph, number 6, and Anthony Davis, number 7. But for all the talk about Curry having a down season, which he is having, he's still putting up 25 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 46 from the field, 40% from 3. I saw some crazy stat where it was like his 3-pointers off the pick and roll or some sort of stat involving 3-pointers moving was like way down. I have no idea. But I do know that Steph Curry is still awesome, and I appreciate the fact that he said recently that he wanted to be in more pick and roll situations, especially late in games for the Warriors, because I do think he has the ability to just go and attack the defense. But given that Golden State likes ball movement so much, they sometimes move away from it. But it is okay to go for a more simple style of play sometimes. But the reason I put him behind Kawhi Leonard is because, one, Kawhi is just in a different stratosphere than Steph is when it comes to defense. I mean, you could say the same thing for like James Harden, but Harden's playmaking is so above Kawhi's that like I feel like they kind of offset each other. Can't really say the same thing for Curry. And, like, again, it should be mentioned, he is a little worse this season. And then I mentioned Anthony Davis at 7. Anthony Davis's floater game, his runners, his face-up and mid-range style of play, combined with his ridiculous athleticism, as well as being impossible to stop in the pick and roll as well as transition, makes him an absolute beast. Defensively, I still think he has a level to go. But I also think defensively he's never really had the center next to him that allows him to really like just play defense, because he has to make up for the other guy not being as good, because a lot of the time it's been Omer Asik. But lately they've been putting him at the center position, and I think that's like the one big question that the Pelicans have moving forward with their franchises. Do they want Anthony Davis to be a power forward, or do they want him as a center? I think it should be said, he has been a little injury prone throughout his career. He hasn't had any huge injuries, but he's always had little knick-knack stuff that keeps him out for like 3 games, and he's back for 2 weeks, then he's out for 2 more games. And I think a part of that is because he has a thin frame, and he's so often attacking the basket and going up against guys who are just really damn strong. It's like, do you really want him at the center position that much? I don't know, but I do still put him at number 7. Number 8... gotta go CP3. Chris Paul is still hanging on. Still one of the best playmakers in the league, as he's averaging 10 assists while also putting up 18 points, 5 rebounds, 47 from the field, 40% from 3. And I think one thing with Chris Paul that's been perhaps slightly overlooked is how he's been able to maintain his defense even as he has gotten older here, as he's now 31 years old. CP3 is simply the textbook point guard for his ability to break you down off the dribble, run pick and rolls, and When he's in the pick and roll, he can get the defender on his back, putting them in jail, if you will, and he knows how to bait the defense so well to where even if the passing lane is not initially there with perhaps the guy rolling to the basket, he just has ways of using timing and hesitation moves and whatever the hell else you want to call it to where he buys himself enough time to where eventually DeAndre or whoever's going to get open, he's going to hit him and they're going to finish at the rim. Same thing goes for Blake. Of course, the horn set with Chris Paul, DeAndre, and Blake is pretty much impossible to defend. And then if you want to bring help off of someone like JJ Redick, you're dead because CP3 is going to notice it immediately. Just a fantastic point guard both ways. For number 9, gotta go Jimmy Butler, man. His improvement has just been ridiculous. Still one of the better defensive players in the league, even if he's regressed a little bit this season. Still pretty damn good. Very damn good, I should say. 25 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 46 from the field, 35 from 3, which is all great. He also shoots 10 free throws a game. Like, how much offensive production is he providing when he puts up 25 points, 5 assists, and he gives you 10 free throws, where he's shooting 87%? Like, the amount that he does offensively for the Chicago Bulls is simply insane, and then you add on top of that the defense. I mean, Jimmy is definitely a top 10 player, in my opinion. Now, for the 10th spot, there's quite a few guys you could think about for this one. There is Demarcus Cousins, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. That is definitely quite a case. I think the one thing that hurts Boogie is defensively, he's in and out. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not there. And I think if you ask him to play enough defense, provide enough help, play enough pick and roll defense, I think he's pretty vulnerable there. And I think that's the reason why I would think about him, whereas with Jimmy Butler, I definitely say he's top 10. There's also Paul George, who's awesome defensively. The scoring has not really taken off as much as we thought based on last year to this year. His efficiency has improved, though, and that's a good look, and I think the team is still not a perfect fit around him, but he's making it work, and they kind of fall apart when he's not in the game, at least based on what I've seen. There's also Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has stepped up and then some, with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 53% from the field. The three-point shot is a non-factor, below 30%, so he's going to have to get there on that one. I mean, there's other names I could mention, but I'll be here for 15 minutes. I'll go Boogie. I think what he does offensively is just still too damn ridiculous, and I also think if he was on a team that was just a little better, I think his day could be easier on both sides of the floor, so I'll go DeMarcus number 10. So, to recap, I don't remember what the hell my list was. Thank y'all for watching, and I'm done.